Welcome to Now Daily. I'm Robert Crawford. Today I want to talk about an article in the Tribunist. It actually came out in June. I bookmarked it a while ago, but I thought it was pretty interesting because it really was talking about a Supreme Court ruling where the police legally have no duty to protect the public at all. That's not their job. That's not their job. According to the Supreme Court and many other courts, which now is the rule of the land, that police are not there to protect you. Let's dive into the article before I want to chat about what this means. This came out around the Orlando, Florida shooting at the nightclub, which is interesting because Hillary Clinton did a rally yesterday and the shooter's father was standing right behind her, which was strange. But let's get into what this ruling was. Basically, in 2005, a ruling from the Supreme Court, they call it SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, the government doesn't have a duty to protect you, even if you've obtained a court-issued restraining order. The Supreme Court ruled that the police did not have a constitutional duty to protect a person from harm, even a woman who had obtained a court-issued protective order against a violent husband, making an arrest mandatory for a violation. The decision, with an opinion by Justice Antonin Scalia, what happened to that guy, and dissidents from justices like John Paul Stevens and Ruth Bader, overturned a ruling by a federal appeals court in Orlando, actually. This is pretty interesting. The appeals court had permitted a lawsuit to proceed against the Colorado town Castle Rock for the failure of police to respond to a woman's plea. So the police didn't do anything. They sue the city. They say, okay, yeah, actually, the city was supposed to do that. And they overturned that ruling and said, no. That's not their job at all. You can't sue them if they don't protect you. They're there to investigate. After the crime takes place, they step in. It's their opportunity to shine. Before the crime, doesn't matter. And then they want to take our weapons away and our right to protect ourselves. It's an interesting dilemma. Regardless of that, it's interesting that the legal system is now classifying it where basically police are only supposed to come after a crime. And if a police officer does help you, let's say he witnesses you being mugged and he comes in and rescues you, he's really doing that at his own will because legally he probably shouldn't even get involved until after it's done and then take over and do the investigation and make the arrest. So that's a pretty interesting characteristic of the police. I think people have a really strange understanding of what the police are supposed to do compared to what they actually do. And that's what this article really brought up for me. This article goes even further. Going back to 1981, a federal court of appeals found that the same lack of responsibility, called Warren versus District of Columbia, in a 2-1 decision, the District of Columbia Court of Appeals determined that Warren, Taliaferro, and Nickel were owed a special duty of care by the police department and reversed the trial court rulings. A lot of these rulings all have to do with people that were trying to get police protection. They were saying, hey, I need a restraining order. I need you to help me. I think I'm in trouble. And the police are basically saying, well, if we do help you, we're really not supposed to. We're not liable for anything that happens. So if they actually go to him for help, imagine not even doing that and then being attacked by someone or something happening. They're not there to really help you. They're there to enforce the law, make arrests, and that's pretty much it. They're there to enforce the law. Now, a lot of cops go out of bounds, right? Not everyone's perfect. And I think a huge problem is they're not even vetting these cops for their understanding of the laws and the legal systems. They do on a basic level, but I mean, we have millions and millions and millions of pages of laws, federal, state, city, municipal, county, whatever else you're talking about. There's so many laws in the books. I don't even think anyone knows what laws are truly over their head and what's affecting them. And it's really amazing to see this happen. I mean, we went from having like 10 laws 5,000 years ago or something, supposedly, right? To now we have millions and millions of laws. We don't even know what's happening. And then the police, who we think, when people are saying, oh no, blue lives matter, black lives matter, all lives matter, the blues are just there, according to the Supreme Court, which rules that now all the police in the United States are only there to really investigate and make arrests. That's pretty much it. They're not there to protect you. They can't be held liable to protect you. If you went and got a private security, and people are saying, well, I can't afford private security, so that's not a solution for everyone. Well, actually, I was door knocking north of Montana and Santa Monica, talked to at least 100 neighbors. Many of them are on ADP, and it's a private security. Then they said that there was like murders, there was a lot of things happening in that neighborhood back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and only the police were protecting them. Eventually, a lot of neighbors got fed up, and they hired a private security force to patrol the area and protect the area. And it's worked. They're still using it 37 years later, I think. They were there forever. So it shows that the privatization of security, or your own personal security, or taking responsibility for it, is really what you have to do, because the police aren't there to do it for you. The police are there to enforce laws, and there's so many laws we don't even know what's out there anymore. So they can pretty much do as they will to take your rights or anyone else's rights away. But if you're really in danger, a police officer may help you because of their own personal character. They would actually be breaking their own laws and regulations if they did. Something to think about. This is Now Daily. Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm going to leave the link as well. Go to nowdaily.com. I'm Robert Crawford, signing off.